It was a quiet Sunday morning in the small town of Brookhaven. The church bell rang softly, echoing through the valley. People filled the pews, smiling, shaking hands, greeting one another like family. At the front stood Pastor Samuel Hayes, tall, gentle, with kind eyes that seemed to understand pain. He'd been the town's preacher for almost 10 years. His sermons brought comfort. His words healed hearts. Forgiveness, he'd often say, is not weakness. It's the proof that love still lives inside us. The townspeople adored him. To them, Pastor Hayes was a man of God, a man of truth. But deep down, behind the calm smile, he carried a secret. One autumn afternoon, a young journalist named Claire came to town. She was writing an article about small-town faith, about communities that stood together in hard times. She met Pastor Hayes after the service. He greeted her warmly, offering tea in his modest office filled with books and photos. "You've built something special here," she said. He smiled. "No, miss. God built this. I'm just keeping the doors open." But as she looked at the photo on his wall, a younger version of him, standing beside a woman and a child, she noticed the date scribbled on the frame, 1994. The same year she remembered from an old case file her father had once shown her. Her father, a retired police officer, had told her stories of a man named Samuel Harris, a con artist who had vanished after serving time for fraud. That night, Claire couldn't sleep. The resemblance haunted her. The photo, the name, the gentle voice that hid something deeper. She went online, searching old records, news clippings, anything she could find. There it was, a grainy mugshot from 1995. Samuel Harris, age 32, convicted for financial fraud. Last known location, Brookhaven County. Her heart raced. Could it be? Could the beloved pastor be the same man? The next morning, she went to his office again. "Pastor Hayes," she began carefully, "have you ever heard of a man named Samuel Harris?" He looked up slowly. His eyes softened. "I used to be him." The silence that followed felt endless. "I changed my name after prison," he continued quietly. "Not to hide from my past, but to build something better than it." Claire stared at him. "You've been preaching all this time under a false identity." "I've been preaching the truth," he said, "the kind you only learn when you've lost everything." He told her the story, how, after prison, no one would hire him, how he wandered, hungry, sleeping in churches, until one pastor took him in, fed him, taught him grace. "When that man passed," Hayes said, "I promised to continue what he started. Not for redemption, but because faith gave me a second chance." Claire's voice shook. "You should tell them the truth." "I've tried," he said, "but every time I wanted to, fear stopped me. They need a shepherd, not a sinner." Claire looked into his eyes and whispered, "Maybe they need both." Later that week, she published her article, but she didn't reveal his name. Instead, she wrote about forgiveness, about a man who rebuilt his life on honesty, even if that truth was late in coming. But secrets never stay hidden for long. Someone recognized the old photo online. Within days, the story spread through town. "The pastor's a fraud," people shouted. "He lied to us." On Sunday, the church was half empty. Pastor Hayes stood at the pulpit, calm, composed, but tears shimmered in his eyes. "Yes," he said softly, "I lied about who I was, but not about who I became." His voice broke. "I once stole from people. Today I try to give back, through faith, through love, through truth." Silence filled the room. Then an elderly woman stood up. "Pastor," she said, "you helped me when I was lost. You prayed with my son when he was sick. You gave us hope. That's the truth we know one by one." Others stood. The same people who had once judged him now stood beside him. Weeks passed. The news quieted down, but whispers remained. Some left the church forever. Others stayed, believing in the man behind the title. Claire visited again. "You told them the truth," she said. "That took courage." "Courage," he smiled faintly, "isn't doing what's easy. It's doing what's right, even when no one stays." He walked her to the door, glancing at the empty pews. "I may have lost a congregation," he said softly, "but I found my soul again." Months later, something unexpected happened. The church reopened, this time fuller than before. New faces, old friends, people who came not for a perfect man, but for a true one. Claire returned to see him one last time. "You kept your promise," she said. He nodded. "Redemption isn't about forgetting what we were," he said gently. "It's about proving we can be more." That night, the church bell rang again. It sounded different this time, softer, like forgiveness itself had found its way home. Moral, redemption begins where lies end. The truth may break hearts for a moment, but it mends them for a lifetime. Thank you for listening to The Fake Pastor. What did this story mean to you? Have you ever forgiven someone who hid the truth for the right reason? Share your story in the comments. And remember, the truth may be painful, but it's the first step toward peace. Subscribe for more real, emotional life stories about forgiveness, love, and second chances. Until next time, stay kind, stay truthful, and never stop believing in redemption.